Hello and welcome to Devotion to Writing, a channel devoted to helping you cultivate a daily writing practice and realize you are creative abundance. In this video, I wanted to talk about the idea of plotting in writing versus pantsing in our writing, which is flying by the seat of our pants. And as I mentioned a couple videos ago, I got a really wonderful comment from a subscriber who had a whole litany of questions about the competing theories of writing. And one of the things that this subscriber asked about was approaching writing as plotting, which is mapping out, say outlining, mapping out the writing that we want to do before we begin, or as opposed to pantsing, which is flying by the seat of our pants and discovering what we're writing as we go. So that's what I want to address in this video. I hope that you will find it useful for wherever you are in cultivating your daily writing practice. So, which one? Plotting or pantsing? So, a little bit about both. Plotting, as I mentioned, is outlining, kind of mapping out where you want to go in the writing before you proceed. Now, the benefits of this, I think, are obvious if you know what you want to write. Say you have a project already in mind. You are writing about a memoir about your family, and you can perhaps outline, you're going to do it chronologically, and so you map it out, kind of major events, and then you take notes on each of those chapters and you write into that. And certainly if you have already in mind a project and you know the shape of that project, you know what you want to include in it, then that is a wonderful way to proceed. And it could be also in your pre-thinking about the writing. The plotting can be a way for you to eliminate the superfluous and really focus on the things that you know that will be important to your story. On the other hand, if you do not know what you want to write about, and a lot of people do not have an idea, they don't have a strong either project or even an idea for what the story is going to be about or what their poetry manuscript will be about, then the pantsing is a fantastic way just to begin the writing, and not only that, to discover what you want to write. And so, as an example of that, in my last book, A Machine for Remembering, I wrote it pantsing it. I had no idea what I wanted to write about. After I had finished my first book, I just knew I needed to start writing again and be writing. And so I started writing. I gave myself 2 years. I was going to write without really questioning what it was I was working towards, what the themes were, even thinking about all this writing as a book. I was just going to write, and I did that for 2 years. When I finished that 2 years, I had close to 900 pages of poetry, and from that I saw there were definite themes that I was working out. And I had discovered, the core of the book. It was just what had concerned me, pretty much what was consistent or what was dominating my thoughts and my exploration in my writing over those 2 years of writing. And so that's how that book, A Machine for Remembering, came about, around themes of exile and loss, a loss of home and a search of home, all of these themes set against the backdrop of war, of conflict. That's how that book came about. I have also written a manuscript by plotting, and I did that. I knew exactly what I wanted to write about, which was a place. So I wrote all the titles, 60 some titles of the places that I wanted to write about, the areas within this place. And then within each of those, I was able to do research about the history, the geography, the geology, the industry that had shaped the people and the place that I was writing about. And then I generated poems about each of those based on, several pages of research about each of those titles. And that's the way that manuscript came about. So I have done both. I find both plotting and pantsing to be very effective. The important thing for you to remember if you're trying to figure out what works best for you is I don't think one is better than the other. There isn't one that is preferable. Um, you need in your practice to figure out what is the best way for you to work. And that might change depending on what you're writing. It will change depending on if you know and how much you know about what you're writing and what you want to write. So I think they both have merits. If you do not know what you want to write or what you're writing about, then the pantsing method could help you discover it. Um, the other thing about the pantsing method is sometimes we get stuck in our writing because we think we have to know what we're writing about before we write. The pantsing method is just, it gets you moving, and it helps open you up so that you can start to say the things that are in you, that you're feeling, that you're thinking about. And that way you may discover the things that are important for you to say. You might discover your voice. You may discover some characters, some story ideas, all of this. So there's a mix. I think there's a really interesting mix that can be in our lives of both the plotting and the pantsing. The most important thing to the plotting versus pantsing debate, and really perhaps which makes either method irrelevant, is the important thing is your consistency. You show up, you write daily, you come to the page, and you're going to figure out what ways work best for you. That is, your practice, your daily devotion is going to inform your technique, your approach, your style, what works for you. You're going to discover it just through, you're going to discover what works for you just through your practice. So let your practice, build your practice, be consistent, write daily, and you're going to discover your ways of working. And the second part of this in the consistency, in addition to the consistency, is your passion. When we are writing anything, especially, maybe it's not if we're just sit down to write a single poem, but when we're writing, say, a novel, or we're working on a novel or a memoir or a manuscript of poetry, say, we're going to be with that work for years, because this is how long it takes for us to complete something like this. And so our passion, our desire is what is going to carry us for that length of time. And in addition to the strength of our practice, our passion and our strength of our practice are what carry us that duration. It is a duration. Our lives change considerably in 3 years. You carry a work with you for several years, and you carry it through all the modulations of your life, your family life, your personal life, your mental, emotional, physical life, your well-being, your job, all of these things. Think about what changes in 3 years, all the changes that occur in your life. And your passion and your practice are what help you sustain it. And your practice allows you to be consistent and yet flexible. As your life happens, your writing is still happening. And that is really important to getting any work done, to getting to some sort of completion with your work. So it's not really, I don't think plotting serves us better or pantsing serves us better in the end, but what serves us the best is our passion and our devotion. More than anything, our devotion, our consistency. So I hope that is helpful. Please subscribe if you'd like to receive more videos and tips on cultivating a daily writing practice, on growing your writing, your creative practice. I'm happy to share what has worked for me over the years and has sustained me as a writer. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you write deeply today. As always, I know that if you do write, you will write beautifully, because beautiful is what you are. Blessings.